Hello everyone, welcome to Investigating Rocks. By the end of the lesson, let's be able to describe the different types of rocks. Second, to describe how different types of rocks are formed. Third, to describe the rock cycle. Types of rocks. Generally, we can divide rocks into three main categories. First, igneous rocks. Second, sedimentary rocks. Third, we have metamorphic rocks. Let's take a look at igneous rocks first. Igneous rocks. Igneous rocks are formed when magma or lava cools and solidifies either beneath or above the Earth's surface. During the cooling process, crystals are formed. There are two main types of igneous rocks: those that are formed beneath the Earth's surface and those that are formed on the Earth's surface. Take some time to study this particular diagram. Notice that fine-grained igneous rocks are formed when the lava cools and hardens on the Earth's surface, whereas coarse-grained igneous rocks are formed when magma cools and hardens inside the Earth. Here, we have a sample of a coarse-grained igneous rock. This rock is known as granite. Notice that the grains are very coarse. Now, the rate of cooling is slower when magma cools and solidifies beneath the Earth's surface. As the cooling process is slow, the crystals in these igneous rocks are large. Another example of this kind of igneous rocks is known as gabbro. Go find out how gabbro looks like. Here, we have another sample of an igneous rock. This rock is known as basalt. Notice the difference between basalt and granite. Here, you almost couldn't see any grains. That's because the grains are very fine. Now, the rate of cooling is rapid when magma cools and solidifies near or on the Earth's surface. As the cooling process is fast, the crystals in these igneous rocks are small. Another example of this kind of igneous rock is rhyolite. Go find out how rhyolite looks like. Alrighty then, we are done with igneous rocks. Let's move on. Sedimentary rocks. Sedimentary rocks are formed from broken rock material eroded by the forces of nature, such as wind and water. Now, these materials are deposited onto the bottom of rivers, lakes, and seas as sediments. As the sediments accumulate layer by layer over time, thick deposits are formed. Now, the weight of the overlying sediments will compact those found below to form sedimentary rocks over time. Examples will be sandstone, shale, and limestone. Take some time to study these three diagrams. Notice that the river will deposit its sediments into the sea. Over time, the sediments will accumulate as layers. The weight of the overlying layers will compact those found below. And after millions and millions of years, the compacted sediments become sedimentary rocks. As the Earth's sea levels fall, the sedimentary rocks are exposed. Erosion by rivers will thereby reveal the different rock layers from different time periods. Isn't that interesting? Let's take a look at some samples. Here, we have a piece of sandstone. Can you see the different layers of sediments? And here, we have a piece of limestone. Here, the sediments are more compacted. Alrighty then, we are done with sedimentary rocks. Let's move on. Metamorphic rocks. Metamorphic rocks are formed when rocks are subjected to intense pressure and extremely high heat. Now, crustal movements may produce great pressure on rocks, such that the properties of the rocks are changed. Great heat from magma or lava can also cause the rock minerals to recrystallize to form new rocks. Here, we have a piece of metamorphic rock. This particular piece of rock is known as a gneiss. Take note not to pronounce the G. Let's pronounce this word together. 1, 2, 3. Gneiss. Well done. Metamorphic rocks tends to have a banded appearance. Notice that this piece of metamorphic rock also has a banded appearance, but yet the bands are uneven. This piece of rock is known as a schist. Alrighty then, we are done with metamorphic rocks. Can you recall the two other kinds of rocks? So we have looked at igneous rocks, sedimentary rocks, and metamorphic rocks. But the next question is, what's the relationship between these three kinds of rocks? Here is where we look at the rock cycle. Take some time to study this particular very busy diagram. Find a place to begin. I would choose magma, since it is the liquid form of rocks. Now when magma cools, it will become igneous rocks. As the igneous rocks are subjected to the forces of nature and weathered and eroded to become sediments, these sediments may be compacted or cemented over time to become sedimentary rocks. If the sedimentary rocks were to be subjected to intense heat and pressure, they will become metamorphic rocks. Of course, if the metamorphic rocks were to melt, it will become magma again. Now the igneous rocks may also melt, and the same may apply for the sedimentary rocks, such that they become magma. Or the igneous rocks may be subjected to heat and pressure and become metamorphic rock. So this shows an interrelationship between the three types of rocks, hence the rock cycle. Alrighty then, we are done with this topic on investigating rocks. Well done everyone. I like this cartoon. See you next time.